significant stake in RBS to Abu Dhabi. The deal, the BBC has learnt, is near current prices and could see British taxpayers lose almost half of their investment. We look at video game retailer Game. It's entered administration. We ask what will become of its stores and thousands of employees. And fuel tanker drivers vote overwhelmingly to go on strike in a row over terms and conditions. The BBC has learned that the government is in talks to sell a stake in RBS to Abu Dhabi. The government, which controls 82% of the bank, has been negotiating with Abu Dhabi sovereign wealth funds for a few months and could sell up to a third of its stake in the bank. Well, let's talk now from our central London studio to Douglas Blakey, who is at the Retail Banker International. Douglas, thanks for joining us. Are you surprised at the news?
The timing of the news is a huge surprise, although only 2 weeks ago UKFI told the Treasury Select Committee that they would be prepared to sell a percentage of the government's 82% stake. I have to admit I didn't expect something to come out as quickly as only 2 weeks ago after the Treasury Select Committee evidence was given. The fact that the government is desperate to reduce its 82% stake, that in itself is no surprise at all.
What does that tell us, that desperation to reduce its stake? Do you think it's tired of all this talk about bonuses?
The government is in a no-win situation holding such a stake in Royal Bank of Scotland. It is only a matter of time, and as I say, it's just the timing that is something of a surprise, given that the share price is bumping along at 27.28 pence, and as we all know, the government paid an average 50 pence for its 82% stake, some 45 billion when the government had to bail out RBS in 2008.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's taking a risk, isn't it, the government here? It's going to be selling, if it does sell the stake at a loss. It's going to come under a huge amount of criticism. Is it willing to take that? Is it worth that risk?
Well, at this stage, we don't know quite how much of the government stake will be sold, and we don't know when that will be, and we don't know the price. So there are still a number of question marks arising, but the principle isn't in dispute. The government just wants to get rid of this stake as quickly as possible. You can write the political script now. The government will say that they want to get the best deal for the taxpayer, and you can see a great political argument coming. The Conservative argument will be Labour had to bail out the bank because there was inadequate supervision, and if anyone forgets, the Conservatives will say, and of course the last lot gave Freddie's knighthood. Labour, you can write the script because they will be saying this is Northern Rock all over again, and for ideological reasons the government just wants to reduce its stake in the bank because it doesn't like the idea of government holding such a large stake in a bank. The staff, I'm sure, will be delighted, and the management will be thrilled if the government reduces its stake. There's an argument that this is a good deal for customers because it's in the customer interest that the best people stay at RBS, and that is enhanced if the government stake is reduced. For Abu Dhabi, it's probably a very good deal, and bear in mind, Abu Dhabi has a great track record. It invested in Barclays at the right time, made a big profit, and earlier this year, Abu Dhabi invested in the Italian bank UniCredit and already is showing a gain on that investment.
OK, interesting. Douglas Blakey, thanks very much for talking to us.
No problem. Cheers.
Staying with banks, the bank to the rich and famous, Coutts, has been fined £8.75 million for failings in its anti-money laundering control.